Alright, today we are going to learn how to multiply polynomials. So our target will be I can multiply two polynomial expressions. First, we'll look at the steps. When you multiply two polynomials, the first thing you have to do is distribute all terms of the first polynomial to each term in the second polynomial. Once you find all the products, then you collect like terms for your final answer. Our first example has a monomial, 7b, times a binomial, 4b squared minus 18. So what we have to do is distribute this 7b to both things inside the parentheses. So first thing you do is multiply the numbers. 7 times 4 is 28. And remember, this is b to the first times b to the second. When we have like bases being multiplied, we add the exponents. This becomes b to the third. So the first product becomes 28b to the third. Now I multiply 7b times a negative 18. So I take 7 times negative 18 and I end up with a negative 126. And my b to the first does not have any b's to multiply, so I just keep b to the first. So the product is 28b to the third minus 26b. Alright, example 2. I have a monomial times a trinomial. So I'm going to multiply negative 3y squared to all the terms inside the trinomial. I multiply the numbers, negative 3 times 6, which gives me a negative 18. And I multiply the variables, y squared times y squared, add the exponents, I get y to the 4th. Now I take negative 3 times a negative 8, which will give me a positive 24, and y squared times y to the 1st, so I add the exponents to give me y to the 3rd. And then finally I take negative 3 times 12, which gives me a negative 36, and I keep my y squared. So the product is negative 18y to the 4th plus 24y cubed minus 36 squared. Alright. Now we're going to look at how to multiply a binomial times a binomial. There are two methods that I'm going to show you. The first method is just looking at it like just distributing. And the second method is something called FOIL. So first I'm going to look at the distributing method. When you look at the distributing method, you just distribute both terms to the second polynomial. So I'll take the 3x and I'll multiply it by 5x. And I'll take the 3x and I'll multiply it by the positive 1. So 3x times 5x, well 3 times 5 is 15. X times x gives me x squared, and then 3x times 1 will give me a positive 3x. And then I'll distribute the 4 to both things inside the parentheses. So I do 4 times 5x to give me 20x, and 4 times 1 to give me a positive 4. Now I look for like terms. Whenever you multiply a binomial by a binomial or a binomial times a trinomial, you're going to get like terms. So we always want to simplify that. So I'm going to combine my x's. 3x plus 20x gives me 23x. So this becomes 15x squared plus 23x plus 4. Alright, the FOIL method is a different way to look at the problem. So FOIL, what FOIL stands for is first. The O stands for outside. The I stands for inside. And the L stands for last. So what it means is multiply the first two terms together. So when I look at my polynomial, my first two terms are 3x and 5x. So I do 3x times 5x, which gives me 15x squared. And then I multiply the outside terms, the ones on the edges, so that's 3x and 1. Those are my outside terms. So I do 3x times 1, which just gives me 3x. Then my inside terms are the two that are on the inside of the binomial. So 4 times 5x, which will give me 20x. And then my last terms, the last two in the binomial, which is 4 and 1, which will give me 4. So now I write those out. I got 15x squared plus 3x plus 20x plus 4. And you can see that I have the same thing with the distributive method. Collect my like terms, and I get 15x squared plus 23x plus 4. So the FOIL method is a short way to remember, gives you a little acronym here to remember how to multiply them. The downfall of the FOIL method is it only works when you multiply a binomial times a binomial. All right, let's look at one more example like this. So I have 3x plus 2 times 2x minus 5. So I'll show you both methods again. The distribution method. So I'll take 3x times 2x to give me 3 times 2 is 6, and x times x is x squared. And then 3x times a negative 5 to give me a negative 15x. Now I'll distribute the 2. I'll take 2 times 2x to give me 4x. And I'll take 2 times a negative 5 to give me a negative 10. Collect my like terms, and I have 6x squared minus 11x minus 10. So let's look at the FOIL method. The first two terms are 3x and 2x. And when I multiply those together, I get 6x squared. First, my outside terms are the two on the outside. So that's 3x and negative 5, which gives me a negative 15x. Sorry for the weed whacking. And then the inside is 2 times 2x, which gives me a 4x. And then 2 times negative 5 will be our last terms, which equals negative 10. So we have 6x squared minus 15x plus 4x minus 10. Collect my like terms, and I get the 6x squared minus 11x minus 10. All right, and I have another problem where we're going to take a binomial times a trinomial. Now this will only work with the distribution method, so I have to hand out this multiplied by 4x to everything inside the parentheses. So I do 4x times 3x to the third, so 4 times 3 is 12, and x to the first times x to the third is x to the fourth. I add the exponents. Then 4x times 2x squared, 4 times 2 is 8, and x times x squared is x cubed. And then 4x times 5x gives me a plus 20x squared. So now I distributed the positive 4x. Now I have to distribute the negative 3 to everything inside the trinomial. So negative 3 times 3x to the third gives me a negative 9x to the third. Negative 3 times 2x squared gives me a negative 6x squared. And negative 3 times negative 3 times 5x gives me a negative 15x. Now I'm ready to collect like terms. So my x to the fourth doesn't have anything, so I bring it down. 12x to the fourth. And then my 8x cubed minus my 9x cubed leaves me with a negative 1x cubed. Remember, we don't write the 1. And then I have a 20x squared minus a 6x squared, which will give me a 14x squared. And then I have my negative 15x with nothing to collect. So my final answer to this product is 12x to the fourth minus 12x to the fourth minus x cubed plus 14x squared minus 15x. All right, let's look at one more example. Again, we have a binomial times a trinomial, so I can't use FOIL. I have to use the distribution method. So I'm going to take that negative x and multiply it by everything inside that trinomial. So this is going to become negative 5x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x. Now I have to hand out a negative multiplied by negative 3 to everything in the trinomial. So this will become a negative 15x squared minus 6x minus 12. Now I'm ready to collect like terms. So my x cubed does not have anything to collect, so I got a negative 5x cubed in front. My x squareds, I have two of them. Negative 2x squared minus 15x squared gives me a negative 17x squared. And then a negative 4x minus 6x gives me a negative 10x and minus 12. All right, tomorrow we will do some more practice problems together, and then I'll have you complete some of these products alone. So hopefully we're getting towards our target of I can multiply polynomials. Sorry again for the weed whacking and lawn mowing.